The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Oh yeah, it's happy hour, my friends. Welcome to No Credentials Required, special Friday edition where you don't need a press pass to talk sports or have an ID to drink beer, but be 21, please.
Yes, please. That could get us in trouble.
18 in Canada. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm your host, and to my right is my designated driver, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing today?
Not tonight, because I'm getting lit. I'm getting lit too. Hook it straight to my vein.
Get straight to my vein.
I'm doing all right. Yesterday was a little weird. I apparently had viral pink eye, which I guess I still do because they say it sticks around for about 3 to 5 days. I don't know what the heck was going on, but my eye was watering and red and looking all sorts of nasty. But they're like, hey, it's not the bacterial kind. It's the viral kind. I'm like, I didn't know there was two kinds. And they're like, drops won't help the viral kind. You can take an antihistamine if it really starts to bother you. But it's already looking better. And here I am, and I'm ready to go because, as you might have read in my byline, it's Extra Life, the sequel tomorrow. Much shorter stream. We're starting at 10 a.m., going to go to 6. And, if you feel like swinging on over to twitch.tv, LDusto67, I will be there starting 10 a.m. Eastern time. The gaming rotation is a little, I had an idea in my head, but that kind of got blown up. So we might be playing some Borderlands 3, some Helldivers. And if Ryan stops by, we may get the old Fall Guys going again at some point. And I may hook up my Retron or my RetroPie and see if we can fire up some OG Punch-Out if he makes his way down here. We will see what happens. How are you tonight, sir?
You'll have to keep me in the loop.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't want to say to people that Dustin Henry gave me pink eye. But
I know.
Or Scott Baio gave me pink eye from Dustin Henry.
Yeah.
But I'm doing all right. It's another one of those weird weeks where I don't have to work a full work week. Like I only work 2.5 days this week. So, but coming up upon Christmas, I got my Christmas hockey sweater. Wonka the Saint, and hey, we already got someone in the chats. Our friend Wonka the Saint saying, "Made it for a non-weekday show. All hail Christmas vacation. Let's go!"
Oh man, Wonko, I'm jealous, man. If your vacation started today, I am jealous, but I'm sure you deserve it. I know you deserve it. One, you've had to watch a lot of Bengals losses, and 2, you're a Seahawks fan, so you're always good in my book.
Doing all right. But before we get into the happy hour, let's remind the people about our social media channels, which are right here. Facebook.com/NoCurdsREQ. Twitter, Instagram, occasionally TikTok @NoCurdsREQ. YouTube.com/@NoCurdsREQ. And on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast, which we have a big announcement coming up in a second. On your preferred platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And get yourself notified. Hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way when we're live, or we've got an episode that is pre-recorded, like the Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast.
Yeah,
another episode we'll probably tape this week, and we'll talk about the New Jersey Devils, the New York Rangers, which I'm pretty sure Brian's going to have a heck of a time this week, and the New York Islanders, which again, Mr. Smooth is Prince Daniel Smooth is not a happy camper right now.
Seems like you got the best end of this one so far. Every week you're like, I don't think Brian's going to be happy, and Staniel is Staniel. So
considering last year was not very great for the New Jersey Devils, I'm kind of happy with the results that's going on right now. But hey, long season, long way to go. But also on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast, rate and review the show. They always help. 5-star ratings help. Reviews, if you can leave them, they help. Comments on Spotify episodes, they help. Everything helps the show. Ratings, reviews, comments, everything helps the show. And speaking of comments, in case of the show, we're typically live on Tuesdays at 7:05 Eastern and on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, but Dustin is doing his extra live stream tomorrow. So we talked about it and we said, you know what? Let's do a happy hour. And it's fitting that we have a happy hour because we've got some special news coming up. But before that, Dustin, the little hand says to the big hand, it's time for something.
It looks like, do you hear those chimes? Do you hear it? Because it's chime time.
Let me heal your brother. And speaking of my co-host on the Three Girls Metro Hockey Podcast and your co-host on the Seahawks Sessions, this gentleman have returned to spread chaos and anarchy. Nothing is secret. Hockey God, no mercy.
Oh man. Tune in after. I will be doing back-to-back podcasts for the first time ever. I now know how it feels for Ryan, doing Total Football Talk Extra and all the other things that he does. And so it'll be interesting. And Stan, you'll prepare to get out the leather chair because I have extensive notes on the Seahawks-Packers game. We're going to get into the Seahawks. I assume we're going to preview the Seahawks-Vikes. I'll get into a little bit of the Seahawks-Vikes here, but tune in after the show if you would like. We're planning on going live again at 8:45 Eastern. But first, I have much to discuss with you, Mr. McCarthy, and I cede the floor to you because you have a special announcement.
I do. And I got to give some I got a show announcement too. I record the second part of the annual tradition known as the top 5 national sports news stories and the top 5 Capital Region sports stories with our friend of the show, Tom Kozlowski. Did that today. He's actually going to be back on his regular program on Monday. Back from dad leave. So he'll be back on Monday they actually switched their times. So they're going to be on at 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 980, Fox Sports Radio. So it'll be from 4 to 7 instead of 3 to 6 from now on. And guys is super happy about it. Got to talk to him a little about that on the before we recorded our episodes on Monday and on Friday. So or today. So happy for the dude. But Dustin, I did some number crunching today. Actually, I didn't do number crunching. It was done by Megaphone. But it's kind of fitting that tonight we have a happy hour because we are celebrating an achievement. 2,500 podcast downloads for 2024. And it's only December 20th. So we could get some more on the way. But I did not expect this kind of number, honestly. I didn't put forward any goals this year for the podcast. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to make quality content. That's all I wanted to do, is make quality content, make stuff for people to listen to, for people to tune into and just interact and enjoy each other. But this is wild. This exceeded by a wild expectation. Any expectations, it wildly exceeded in 2024. So I'm happy to announce 2,500 downloads, and part of the success is not just me; it's also you, Dustin. So I have you to thank for being my second chair, so to speak, for this program, and I have to acknowledge you.
Oh, thanks,
for being a part of this achievement for 2024. I'm, when I first started this podcast, I didn't expect like a whole lot of success. I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to do this because I want some experience to maybe someday down the road make this a career in radio and like on terrestrial radio or satellite radio, or get this picked up by a big outlet. But it's been struggle of blood, sweat, tears, and sometimes mental health breaks just to kind of get motivated and get excited for it again. But then, I asked you to be a part of the show 2 years ago, or a little more than 2 years ago, while we were on vacation. And you said absolutely, and we've been having a blast ever since. But like I said, I have you to thank. I have our audience to thank for being part of it, part of the ride. And this is a big achievement. I mean, it doesn't seem 2,500 for the calendar year doesn't seem like much, but to me, this is big because it just tells me that we're on the right path, we're on the right road in terms of what this podcast does. And it's a big thing. It's a big achievement.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I was blown away when you gave me these numbers. I mean, I feel like sometimes, and I think everybody who's been in podcasting, or I see Kevin Wilson in the comments congratulating us on the achievement. I imagine it feels like that sometimes when he's contributing articles for Belly Up and podcasting as well. It's like you wonder if you're reaching anybody. And to me, these numbers show that we are, and we've carved out our nice little part of the island, so to speak. And I have you to thank for it. I mean, you got me. The last time I had done a podcast prior to podcasting with you, it was a different world. Chris and I were audio only. We made it about 2 years for us, and that was a big achievement. But it never achieved this modicum of success. And also these numbers, what I started thinking about is we get some views on YouTube and live on X and Facebook and other things. So this is just 2,500 podcast downloads, which to me, when things are divided over that much, like you said, it's may not seem like a huge number to a lot of people, but it's a big number for us. And it just keeps me inspired to keep doing this. But I don't think it's any secret. Anybody that watches the show knows you're the one that makes it go. I just kind of stay here and add what I can add to it. And if people like that, great. And I particularly enjoy our production meetings and planning the myriad of things that we have planned for the show, and also coming up with these segments. Your naming of the podcast was genius because it allowed us to just shoot off into so many different other things.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I got a chance to listen to the first episode of Seahawk Sessions, and Staniel Smooth called me the hardest working man and the podcast side, at least for Belly Up Sports. And
I would agree with that sentiment.
It's thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think I am, but there's some guys in the chat like to who definitely earn that title for sure. But to be among those is quite an honor. I appreciate your word. But we're gonna celebrate our achievement with a toast.
Yeah.
And we'll let the people know what we're drinking. So cheers to you, Dustin. Cheers to our audience. Cheers to everyone watching. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Ooh. Ooh.
I have not learned. I don't know if that was a positive reaction to your beer or not.
No, this is okay. So
got a lot of dimension.
So we might as well transition into hot food takes. Well, not hot food takes. Beers.
Yeah, for happy hours, it's always beers.
It's beers. So I'll let the people know what I'm drinking tonight. So recently, Treehouse Brewing, which is very well known in New England as being one of the best breweries in New England. They've got several locations in most of the locations are in Massachusetts, but they also got one in Connecticut. They recently expanded into New York, and they're opening one in Saratoga Springs. And I had the chance 2 weeks ago to go to the OG location in Charlton. And I was being told we're going to do a can drop soon. Check out our website.
Nice.
Find out what we're doing when we're dropping cans so you can go order yourself some. Come to find out, they dropped the next Friday, the 13th, which was super cool. So I pre-ordered some beers. I picked them up. I got 4-pack. And one of those beers, it's literally called Snow. And this is what the can looks like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's some great can art, by the way.
Yeah.
I gotta shout it out.
And it's a wheat double IPA. It's only 6.4 for a double IPA, which is pretty cool. But this is what the description says. And I quote from Treehouse Brewing. We are excited that you are holding a delicious wheat double India Pale Ale from Treehouse Brewing Company. Snow. That's the name of the beer. Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Snow is a singular member of the Treehouse family, featuring heavily wheated grist and immense kettle and dry hop doses of our favorite American hops. It explodes on the palate with a rich tropical fruit, citrus, and mango characteristics, balanced by a smooth, bready finish. I think that's what got me.
Yeah, that's what got you. I was
That's what
about to
got me
say
is the
that's
bready
what's got you.
because it's got wheat.
Yeah.
It is everything we know and love about Treehouse Double India Pale Ale with the distinct twist on an IPA. An IPA for winter. Aw.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's that's an interesting description. I would definitely. I'm usually not a fan of wheat beers. I like some, but some of them can be quote unquote too bready for me. But that sounds like one I gotta try because it's got the
And
mango
actually,
and everything.
you got one coming your way. Because
Oh
I
man!
ordered four 4-packs, and I got 3. I got one of each. My brother's got one of each. I got you one of each as well.
Oh,
So you'll be
thank you,
getting
sir.
yourself. You'll be getting to try this. Although I do recommend the Julius. That is outstanding IPA.
Oh
If you
man,
like
I'll have to try
crazy
that.
IPAs. But yeah, you're definitely getting one. You're getting one of each from what I bought. So
Oh, thank you so much, man.
so what
Thank
about
I
you? What about
appreciate
you?
that.
What are you drinking?
I am sampling. Well, I figured it is snowing today. So you picked snow, which is very, very fitting. I am drinking another local beer because I guess now we can call Treehouse local. It is
Yep.
local. It's in Saratoga Springs now. It's me, Bucky Buchanan from Saratoga. Sorry, that's my favorite line from Ocean's 11. Every time, I love doing that. But winter ale from Frog Alley Brewing Co. You might have seen
Hey.
this in the stores. Frog Alley's in Schenectady. They have a number of different beers now. I remember the first beer I tried from them was the 1903 lager, I believe, and it was when they
Yes.
were
That's their mainstay.
it was when they were just a tasting room. They didn't have like the whole space built out or anything yet. Construction was still ongoing. And I've been keeping up with their beers ever since. Some I really like. I usually like their NEPA IPAs and some of the other stuff. I also have Frog Nog. That was a good beer. I thought about doing that, but I felt like with the snow and the atmosphere tonight, I figured winter ale was the pick. This is the description on the can. The weather outside may be frightful, but this winter warmer is sure to keep the cold at bay. Crystal and Munich malts produce a
Ooh.
sweet, bready character, while a restrained addition of seasonally appropriate spices adds to the touch of warmth to brighten up those long nights and cold days. This is 7% by volume, and it
Ooh.
is an ale. And I have to see if I still have a can of this for you, my friend,
Oh,
because
thank you.
I think it's a pretty good beer here. We can get a nice little beer trade going. Every happy hour episode, we'll trade the beers we're drinking. We could do that. But I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's one that I could drink a lot of. I think it's a one can and done for me. The spicier beers are usually like that, but it's perfect for a night like this and perfect to celebrate with you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. And winter warmers are typically, I'm not sure to say high in ABV, but they've got like this quality that definitely makes you feel warm. And
Yeah.
Frog Alley's got some good stuff. They got the standard, uh, their standard beers. They got that as one of their winter beers. Their Squints watermelon sour is delightful because I love watermelon. I love a good watermelon beer.
Yeah,
So,
you love water. You were the one that first showed me the Heller what
Heller
was
High
it?
Watermelon from
Yeah, Heller
21st
High
Amendment.
Watermelon. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm gonna definitely, I'm hoping you enjoy this. Like I said, the first taste, like get the Brady kick. Yeah, it'll set, I won't say set you back, but it'll definitely it'll take you by surprise.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I witnessed it live, everybody.
He did. And Mr. Kevin Wilson saying, congratulations on the achievement. Welcome to saying, great work, guys. And Kevin celebrating with us with a Shiner Bock.
Oh, there you go. That's a huge beer. Yeah, I've had it a few times and I liked it when I had it. But it is like, it seems to be a huge beer in like that area of the country, Texas, Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma, Shiner is huge. I remember I flew with a girl one time from Oklahoma City and she was telling me like Shiner's massive out in that area of the country. So
Wonko saying, shamefully out of beer here, toasting you all back with a puff of apple gas. Sativa, THC 23.5% leaves, rolled into a Camel Blue cigarette.
Hey, Wonko, celebrate however you can and whatever makes you happy, man. I thank you for being here. You've been one of the OGs since I've been joining the show. There's a lot of people, and I mean we got to shout out obviously Kevin, Staniel, both. They've been guests on the show. That's how Seahawks Session birthed. You know, there's been so many. Cole and obviously just Snowman. Snowman has especially filled in for me when I haven't been around. Cool McCain's been here.
Yep.
And of course our tribal chief. We got to play his soundbite. We got to play. And we're going to have him back for a movie review.
That's right. We must acknowledge our tribal chief.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe,
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
There's a lot of people that helped us get here. I'm in the mood to celebrate tonight.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, let's get into we're going to talk about which is the NFL. That's what we're all about right now. No credentials required. We're talking about the NFL and we're reviewing last night's tilly between the Denver Broncos and Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers went up winning this one 34-27. After falling behind 21-10, as many as 11 points. They were down by as many as 11, but they come back with outscoring the Broncos 27-6 from the second quarter on. And let's talk about this game, Dustin. What did you think about this game? What were some things you noticed about this game?
So I was feeling a little under the weather yesterday, obviously a little tired. So I dozed off at points during this game, but I did see most of the game. And early in the game, I was kind of shocked by how well the Broncos were able to run the ball, because that has been something that they have kind of struggled with at points during this season. Their success has been based on largely the play of Bo Nix and their outstanding defense, which their outstanding defense kind of got beat in this game. But the Broncos were able to run it very well early. Javonte Williams had some nice runs. Audric Estime had some nice runs. And the third running back, whose name is escaping me, also had some nice runs and set up the Broncos. The Broncos scored quickly and the Chargers responded. And I thought, hey, is this game going to be back and forth? But then, the Broncos just seemingly took control of the game in the first half, and they kind of jumped out to a lead that surprised me. And, we all know Justin Herbert is playing through some pain. You can tell that he's not quite what he can be when he's fully healthy, but he's still doing all right to me. And Jim Harbaugh will heap as much praise on Justin Herbert as anybody. And you know what? Kind of saw it last night. I haven't been paying attention to the Chargers as much, even though they've been surprising. They're not going to win that division. The Chiefs already locked up that division, but the Chargers are still very much in the mix for a playoff spot. And the Broncos also have been successful. So this was a game. These two teams had very good records against teams that were under 500, and both of them were only 1-5 coming into this game. against teams with records that were over 500. But these two teams battled back, and credit to the Chargers, because it looked like the Broncos were going to run away with this game in the first half.
Yeah.
But then something very crazy happened. And I was still like, I had never even heard of this rule. You could call me a poser football fan if you want, but this was all new to me. So the Broncos called for, or the Chargers called for a fair catch, and one of the Broncos defenders ran into a person who had signaled for fair catch on the ball. And this was after, the Chargers were driving, and Justin Herbert threw an interception in the red zone. I believe it was only his third pick of the year, which, Ryan, that reminds me, I do have to apologize. You were right last week. Earlier this week on Tuesday, Lamar Jackson does only have 3 interceptions, not 4, like I said. So you were correct. You guessed right. And that was bothering me. I meant to text you before now, but I forgot about it. And now, but Justin Herbert, he has also thrown very few interceptions on the year, but he has thrown one the 2 games before this one, and then he had one last night. Other than that, he's been very good with the football, but his turnover was when they were in the red zone. He was picked off as they were driving. And the Broncos, so the Broncos then scored, if memory serves, and then the Chargers signaled for fair catch on this kick, and the Broncos player ran into him. And as a result of that, the Chargers were awarded either an untimed down, if memory serves, or a free kick. And after much debate, they elected to go for the free kick. And Cameron Dicker hit a 57-yard field goal, which gave the Chargers some hope to cling to at the half. They were down only 8 as a result of that, because this was the first free kick since 1976, the year of inception of my beloved Seattle Seahawks. Guess what? I wasn't around yet, so I didn't see that.
Neither was I.
But Kirk Herbstreit, he joked with Al Michaels. He goes, "Wasn't that your first game on Monday Night Football?" And Al Michaels was like, "Come on now, it was 1986. Come on." So, nice little joke between those two. But that kind of shifted the momentum. I know, because at one point the Chargers just came out firing in the second half. Whatever Jim Harbaugh said at the half got them going, because the Chargers defense had not been able to generate a pass rush to disrupt Bo Nix at all. And they started to do it. Did they dominate in the second half in that respect? No, but they got to him in key moments. The Broncos were driving at one point, and Bo Nix took a sack that took them out of field goal range, and it was on third and long. And the Chargers scored 21 second half points. They really got it going. Justin Herbert was spreading the field, spreading the ball all over the place. And I thought they should have gone to Ladd McConkey more in the second half. Obviously, they went with what worked. But in the first half, particularly, Ladd McConkey was getting open at will. And I thought they kind of went away from him a little bit in the second half. But what a player he is. And, their rushing attack, the Chargers didn't do much, but Gus Edwards, he kind of got it going in the second half. He had a 44-yard run out of nowhere that went a long way towards sealing the game and the comeback for the Chargers. It was an entertaining one to watch, because the Broncos did keep it close. They managed a couple of field goals in the second half. They tried an onside kick. It was another nice one to watch, but congratulations to the Chargers for the comeback there.
Yeah, this is one I watched the first half, and I turned it off at the wrong moment because I thought it was going to be a blowout. I'm like, all right, Broncos are up 21-10. This game's fade out completely. The Chargers are a terrible football team, because they showed that stat about, like, they had over the last 6 quarters.
Yeah.
In the second quarter, the Chargers had allowed something like almost 600 yards of total offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the Buccaneers and of the Broncos. So it's like, what's the point? And now I feel stupid because I turned it off at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because we got to see, because I missed out on history. for the first time in 48 years, we get to see a free kick field goal based on a fair catch. And I was like, oh, what did I do that for? Then that was the momentum changer right there. That was the momentum changer, because you could see based on the highlights I watched and the score line, that was a momentum shift, because after Dicker's 57-yard field goal with zero, and that's the best thing about it. I see, Jim Harbaugh's nerdiness came through for the for the Chargers, and they looked, because they were starting to look like every bit of the team that got blown out by Tampa Bay 4 days before. They were still kind of getting, they kind of go through the motions. And I think that kick started that snowball, because the second half was a completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers out, and like you mentioned, Chargers outscored the Broncos 21-6 in that half. They were up. They were down 11, and then at one time during the fourth quarter, they were up 10. The 21 point swing, a literal 21 point swing. So Chargers now hold the advantage for 6th seed in the playoffs in the AFC bracket, and they own the easiest path to the playoffs, because that was their home finale. So they're at New England next week, and they're at Las Vegas the week after. The Broncos got to play in Cincinnati next week. Then they host Kansas City in week 17. And those are two. Kansas City will be tough.
Yeah.
Cincinnati will be tough too, because Cincinnati they're still knocking on the door too. So even though they're technically, their strength of schedule is worse than Indianapolis's, Cincinnati still has an easy path if and only if they can have Indy lose out, Denver lose out. They got to win out, because they've got Cleveland this weekend. They got Cleveland on Sunday. I think their last game of the year is at Pittsburgh.
Wow.
That's a tough task.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, especially when they were beat pretty substantially by the 10-point loss, but the score at times didn't look pretty for the Bengals against the Steelers a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the Chargers have got a pretty nice path going forward to the playoffs. But if you're Sean Payton, you're going to have heartburn for the next 10 days. Thinking about that loss, because you had 2 3-and-outs in that second half. You had unsustainable drives to show for it, unsustainable drives, and 2 field goals to show for your effort in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and a blown 11-point lead.
Yeah.
So this might be a team that doesn't quite know how to hold a big lead just yet, or maybe they have, but the Chargers just kept rolling along.
Yeah.
So,
and it'll be interesting to see how Vance Joseph, what he studies from this game and comes out of it, because in the first half, his Broncos defense was doing what they do. They were frustrating the Chargers a little bit. They were shutting them down. And Justin Herbert, you could see him. He was dejected after throwing that pick in the red zone. He got fooled. It was just, you could see it. And but after that, I mean, they kind of threw it all over the yard on this Broncos defense. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments Sean Payton makes and Vance Joseph makes before their next game.
And we got some comments before we go to break. Got some comments in the comment section from Kevin saying, "Come to Texas. I'll treat you to some Shiner Bach." Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to Texas, Dustin.
Awesome.
Road trip.
Yeah.
No road maps required. Wonko chiming in was hat tip to 80-year-old Al Michaels, who's still killing out his job. Do you believe in miracles?
He is. He's still as good as ever,
By the way, next in February is the 45th anniversary of Miracle on Ice. Good.
Wow.
And then Kevin says, shout out to the Chargers for stepping up. They're known for standing down more than standing up. I mean, at least this season, for sure. The last couple seasons with the great Staley Field, Kevin Staley as your head coach, but things are different with Jim Harbaugh, at least this season. We'll see what happens from
Harbaugh's turning them around. Whether you're a fan of Jim or not, I gotta admit, I still have a bit of a dislike for him from those 49ers Seahawk days. He's a good coach. He can turn things around. He's done it wherever he's gone.
Yep. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna preview what we're looking forward to and not looking forward to in NFL Week 16. So stand by and stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. I got a story for you, Dustin. Invader Coffee.
Lay it on me.
All right. So this week, they had bad stand-up back in stock. They had it in stock. I had 2 bags. I had 2 bags ready to be ordered. I got paid yesterday. I forgot to put in the order.
Oh, no.
I went back to get the order in. They were sold out.
Oh, no.
And this is the whole bean they had. They had the whole bean ready.
The whole bean. Yeah.
Like,
see, oh, man. Oh, foiled. But that's how good. That's how good it is. And believe me, the holidays have become, they're one of my favorite times of year anyway, as I feel like they are for a lot of people. My favorite holiday has already passed, Thanksgiving, second only to Halloween. And guess what? Invader has a blend for the fall, the pumpkin pecan, which I've enjoyed many times. But the holiday blends are something I look forward to about the holiday season more than any other. They're so good. All of the blends, though, that I've had are so good. I have not. I realize you can tell me that I sound like an Invader shill, but I have not had a bad blend yet. I've enjoyed them. I prefer the whole bean. I've got a bag of Bad Santa ground. I prefer the whole bean. That's just personal preference. I still had 2 cups of the Bad Santa ground this morning. So, Invaders become a part of especially my weekend days. When I'm relaxing, I go for a cup of Invader. And it gets to you, even in the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, it gets to you quick. And use our affiliate link and our promo code BELLYUP at checkout to save on your order.
Yeah. And hopefully next time it's in stock, I won't mess up and not order Bad Santa. Hopefully they have it in time for Christmas. But I've got the cookie crumble. I've got the tiramisu. Those are holiday flavors I can enjoy.
Yeah.
But hopefully, when Bad Santa's back in stock, I can remember to order it.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out.
And cookie crumble is my favorite. I might have to order a backup bag of cookie crumble as well. But don't sleep on the Jolly Java. I've had that one too. That one's delicious. I mean, all of them, man. They're a part of my Christmas ritual as much as any other. I was thinking about it as I was looking at my tree tonight. I'm like, you know what? Invader's like one of the reasons that I like to get up in the morning, especially these snowy days here in the capital region. Love drinking my Invader as long as I'm home to do it.
Yep. Same. I usually have it every morning, but I've been kind of indulging. I'm trying to get into instant coffee. It was kind of my go-to between orders, so it's all right. Some comments before we move on to the rest of week 16. Alex Smith, a new credhead, tuning in saying, "I'm still sad that we lost last night." Yeah, the Broncos. It's too bad for them.
Yeah,
sorry, bud. Your Uncle Al chiming in. Next Halloween, Dustin can dress up as Darth Invader. Spencer tuning in, coming back from Tuesday saying, "Boom! Just tuning in. Hope there's discussion about the Vikings in the Super Bowl ahead." No. And Mr. Wilson chiming in again, saying, I grew up in Indiana. Give it up for the Hoosier State and football tonight. Actually, funny thing. There was a tweet on DraftKings that said, who do you think of when you think of this logo? It had the Indiana Hoosiers logo. And the first person I said was our boy, Colin Taylor, who was with us in July or August, was with us back in August, talking about American underdogs. So he went to Indiana. So that's the first person I thought of. I tagged him. He's like, my man. I'm like,
he also gave you some tips on training for the 40.
I actually got to reach back out to him for that. I never got a chance to follow up with him. I know he's currently in Babyville with his wife Danielle. So congratulations to the both of them. Oh, and Julie from Michigan chiming in saying, hello, gentlemen. Hey, Julie, how's it going? Thanks for joining us a little bit late. For those of you who missed it, before we talked about Thursday Night Football and got into our beers. By the way, mine's gone. That's okay. I got some liquid refreshment here just in case. We celebrate an achievement. We celebrate 2,500 downloads on the podcast side. So that was a big announcement. We'll put some on the socials. Just putting something on the socials just to say thank you to all of our fans, all of our cred heads who have joined us over the year, whether on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, or on the podcast side. And just say thank you to all of you for supporting us, supporting this little podcast that could.
Yeah, we could not do it without you. We do it for you, and we could not do it without you, literally. So thank you. Whether you told another person about this podcast and they downloaded it or tuned in, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to move on to, and we were enjoying some celebratory drinks. Mine's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm having some fun, and we got to get Dustin out of here for his next podcast recording. So we're going to move quickly into week 16 of the NFL. We're first going to talk about the most intriguing matchup in week 16 of the NFL. I guess I'll lead off for this one, and I'll just say that Eagles Commanders is my most intriguing matchup. Commanders currently own the 7th seed in the NFC playoffs by the slimmest of margins after surviving last week against New Orleans. And they actually have a very slim chance of winning the NFC East. They have to win out. Philadelphia has to lose every single one of their games at the bottom to fall out. But I'm kind of curious to see, and they're playing the Eagles this week, so they can help themselves with a win over Philadelphia this week. But which team are we going to see when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles? Are we going to see the team that was very dominant last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Are we going to see them in games that they've been dominant this year? Or are we going to see them when they play down to their opponents and they barely squeak one out, like against Cleveland early in the year, that had Eagles fans yelling, had Nick Sirianni yelling at Eagles fans at the link? Or are we going to see the same team that played down to Carolina a few weeks ago? So I'm kind of curious to see which Eagles team shows up on Sunday and which Commanders team shows up on Sunday as well. So that's my most intriguing matchup. How about you, Dustin? What's your most intriguing matchup for this week?
Oh, well, I'm going to have my eye on one of the Saturday games. I love the Saturday games. Now, I will be streaming during some of these Saturday games, but I'll probably have my iPad on with a little eye to the games, because that's the kind of host I am here. Now, it is Steelers Ravens for me. Now, part of it is because these two teams just always seem to play each other well. You know, it's transcended players, whether it was Palomalu versus Lewis way back in the day, or these two teams have always hit each other hard. They've played each other well, and I expect this to be no different, because will the Steelers defense, who it's no doubt the Steelers defense is the strength of this team. I think with some of Russell Wilson's recent play, and also the fact that George Pickens is extremely talented, although he talks a little bit too much for my taste, but there's no denying his talent. And Najee has been able to run the ball a little bit better this year than he has in past years, because people were wondering about who was going to take over that running back job. I think Najee, he has a firm squeeze on it, even though they do use Warren a little bit, Jalen Warren there too. I think people forget how good the Steelers defense has been at stretches. It was easy when they were winning games because of the defense, and the offense hadn't really found its stride yet. But the offense is starting to find itself a little bit, but they laid an egg against an Eagles team that seems to be really rolling right now last week. So I want to see how the Steelers defense will rebound and respond and see if they can stop Lamar Jackson, who, as we've both talked about at points on this show, has been balling this year. There's no doubt about it. And will Derrick Henry kind of get back on track, because he started off the season, there was no doubt that he was in the MVP discussions. He has since cooled a little bit by his standards. He's kind of slowed down. But will he be able to rebound? I mean, I'm just excited. I think this is going to be a good game. There's a lot to look for on both sides of the ball for both teams, and I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Saturday afternoon matchups. I think they're both on NFL Network, if I'm not mistaken. So
okay,
we got Texans Chiefs at 1, then you got Ravens Steelers, which will be to see which team will control their destiny in the AFC North. So it's going to be, and it's going to be in Philadelphia. It's going to be in Baltimore. I keep getting my I-95 teams next time. But those will be some fun games, I hope. So let's go. So speaking of hope, let's talk about Desperation City / Bounce Back City. And Dustin, I don't have you lead off. Which team is the most desperate, or could use a bounce back game in week 16?
Man, I mean, people are going to call me a homer. They're going to call me whatever. And tune in to Seahawks Sessions if you feel like it after the show for more on this. But it's definitely going to be. I mean, the Seahawks need to win this game. Now with what happened after being drubbed by Green Bay last week, I'm going to get into it huge. They need to beat the Vikings here. They need to beat the Vikings. At least Geno Smith will play. It also Kenneth Walker will be active for this game as well. But so that should help. But the Seahawks need this win, and I'm not 100% convinced that they can get it. Geno throws too many red zone interceptions. He leads the league in that category, if I'm not mistaken. And this is no shade at Geno. Believe me, after seeing Sam Howell under center last week for a little bit, I'm reminded of a quote in the preseason. What was the quote that I'm remembering? You might have to tune into the next show to find out. I can't unleash everything here, but the Vikings need this win also. And you might be saying, Dustin, why are you saying they need a win? They need to keep pace with the Lions. Despite the Lions' loss, the Lions are still, if I remember correctly, they still own the tiebreaker over the Vikings, because I think they beat the Vikings earlier in the year. I'm trying to remember. I could have that wrong.
Yes, 35. It was a 34-31 victory in Minneapolis or St. Paul, or whichever city they play in.
Yeah, whichever one. But the Vikings need this win too, because the Packers are on their heels after destroying my beloveds.
31-29. My apologies.
Oh, thank you very much.
Real-time research, folks. Hashtag
real-time
research.
Ryan's the best at it. In episode 1, you could probably hear it, Ryan, because you co-host with me enough. But Staniel asked me to look something up, and I was scrambling. I was like, "Oh man, you're faster than I am." But anyway, the Vikings need this game too, because the Packers are on their heels. The Packers are on their heels after destroying my Seahawks last week. And the NFC North is a meat grinder of division. All the teams are so good. But the Seahawks need this win, and the Vikings need it. And the Seahawks defense has been improving. And will they be able to shut down Sam Darnold in that passing attack, which I mean, Justin Jefferson, if you shut him down, then they've been tearing you apart with Jordan Addison. So there, it's going to be a tough road to hoe, but the Seahawks need this win desperately for a chance at the division. And we'll get into what I need your Jets to do later in the show. All
Yes.
right.
Julie is saying, yes, Dustin, go Seahawks. She's also saying, please with the Vikings. I need the Seahawks win as a Lions fan.
Yeah.
And Kevin Wilson saying, yes, I agree with Dustin. To be taken seriously, the Seahawks need to win this game. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, your Uncle Al saying Saturday games are on NBC and Fox.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You know what? We should Uncle Al should be. You remember Around the Horn back in the day when Tony Reali was Stat Boy?
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Al should be our stat boy because he's always or we'll call him Stat Man. Show some respect.
He should be our TV guide guy.
He's right on it always. He's talk about fast real time research. I think you and he could compete for the title of the faster. Both of you leave me in the dust.
That's why our name is Dustin.
Yeah.
My bounce back city / desperation city. You were, this is a bounce back game for sure for the Indianapolis Colts. Talked about this last week. I'm going to talk about it this week. The Colts had a great opportunity to improve their playoff chances last week in Denver, and they literally dropped the opportunity. Thanks a lot, Jonathan Taylor. To improve their chances. Now they need to win out in addition to getting some help. This week, they begin with what I think is the easiest road to the playoffs at home with a win against the garbage fire that is known as the Tennessee Titans. And I'm hoping they do it. Hopefully the Jonathan Taylor doesn't drop another football in the end zone before he gets to the end zone and have it roll back out for a touchback. That leads to a momentum swing. But against the Tennessee Titans, although the Tennessee Titans a couple weeks ago, they shocked the world and beat the Houston Texans in Houston. So you never know with this team with Tennessee, although they were, but last week they were absolutely destroyed by the Cincinnati Bengals, save for that one garbage time touchdown they got at the end of the game. So, but yeah, Indianapolis Colts. Do your due diligence. Do your thing. Make your road easy. Win on Sunday because you get some help. Get yourself some help with 2 losses from Denver to go to the playoffs. All right, which leads us to our self-featured game of the week. Oops.
Running and pull trash.
Which game is utter trash to you this week? I'm sorry, trash to you.
No. Man, I'm so sorry to do this, especially because he's watching, obviously, but
say his name and he appears.
It is. I'm sorry, Uncle Al, but the Giants Falcons, man, this is going to be a tough one to get through. This is going to be a real tough one to get to because it could go one of 2 ways. Okay. So obviously at any point this year, you would know better than anybody. The Giants offense has not been fun to watch at any point this year, except for a few Tyrone Tracy good runs. He's one of the bright spots. And I do think you have a star in Malik Neighbors. He's going to be such a monster in this league for years to come. I hope so. But they haven't been fun to watch. And then on the other side of the ball, you have Michael Penix Jr. making his first start, which I'm still kind of shocked by. I mean, I know Kirk, obviously Captain Kirk, hasn't been playing the best, but the fact that news broke that Penix was declared the starter on Tuesday's show, that still kind of shocks me. But it is the Penix time now in Atlanta, in the ATL. But this game could go sideways really quick. Because if Penix does well, Atlanta has enough weapons that they should be able to cruise out to a lead against the Giants and keep it. But if Penix struggles and the Giants pass rush is able to get to him as they have been able to get, that's been one of the bright spots of the Giants team. They have had a pass rush. They have a surprising amount of sacks. So if they can get to Penix and pressure him and kind of make him make mistakes in his debut and hit him a bunch, this could be a very sloppy game to watch. I'm not looking forward to this one. And with that, I cede the floor to you.
Your Uncle Al says, in order to go full Giants, they will need to pull together a couple wins to blow the number 1 pick. All I'll say is this. Jaguars, Raiders.
Oh,
if I
man.
watch this game, I deserve coal in my stocking on Wednesday. Let's move on to the players to watch on offense this week in the NFL. And the player I have the most eye on this week, and we'll go quickly because Dustin's got a show. Another show in about 17 minutes to go to. Tune in to this Time to BS with Staniel Smooth YouTube channel for Seahawks sessions at 8:45, FYI. Players to watch on offense, I got my eye on Joe Burrow. Just keep Shady Joe.
I couldn't figure out what you were trying to say. I was like, Burrow's not that bad. He's been great.
Shady Joe.
There you go.
I'm trying to say shady, but it comes out another way.
It does.
He's keeping the Bengals' playoff hopes alive. Can he continue to do it against the Browns? Let's just put it this way: the Browns, there may be a complete dumpster fire on offense, but their defense, their pass rush, is pretty decent. We'll see how they do. Let's see how Joe Burrow does against the Browns this week. Dustin, how about you?
Well, I'm going to be watching. Let's see. I am going to be watching the CJ Stroud. I can't believe I almost forgot it. I wrote these notes a little while ago, people. I can't. My short-term memory sometimes is not.
Got to use the tool called scroll down. That's what you got to do.
CJ Stroud. He. I don't think anybody would deny that he has regressed a little bit compared to where he was last year. I still think he's going to be a great quarterback in this league. I think he is a great quarterback in this league, but compared to his superstar looking ways last year, he was my pick for rookie of the year that year. He was great. He has regressed a little bit, and I want to see how he plays. I want to see if he can keep up with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes will play. Apparently that was up in the air for a little bit, but love or hate Mahomes, he will play through pain. He's done it before. And if I know Mahomes, it won't slow him down any bit. The Texans defense, it's up to them to do that. But I want to see how CJ Stroud does against the Chiefs. I want to see what he can do to keep the Texans in this game if it develops into a shootout. So I've got my eye on him. And with that, who are your players on? Wait, we didn't already do defense. No, we did not.
But I have some breaking news.
Breaking news. Okay.
Some breaking news for you. I don't have to catch this later on the account, but the Adirondack Thunder, I just saw something on their Facebook page about their goalie getting into a tilly with the other goalie.
Man, goalie fight.
Fight, baby. Can't wait for the video to come out. All right. Well, speaking of fighting and goalies, we'll have to go to the players to
can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
Players to watch on defense this week, Dustin.
Players to watch on defense. Well, here we go. The players that I'll be watching on defense are Quinnen Williams, Hassan Reddick, Javon Kinlaw, and Will McDonald IV. Your New York Jets pass rush.
Whoa. Okay.
I need them to generate a pass rush against Matthew Stafford in the Rams. I need them to pressure Matthew Stafford in the Rams. I need them to play spoiler against a surging 8-6 Rams team that I do not want any part of. Okay, I need them to do this. Am I trying to speak it into existence? Yes. I'm sorry, Playmaker. We're both Michael Jackson fans of the music, and we're both good guys. We both like sports. I love podcasting with you when you're on. It's been great. I interact with you on Facebook from time to time, but I need your New York Jets to wreak havoc on the Rams offensive line, pressure Matthew Stafford, throw him off. I need I need the Jets pass rush to come through for me.
So the good news for you is that the Jets are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th in the league in sacks with 39. The Rams have allowed 29 to Matthew on Matthew Stanford this year. So pass rush can eat. Pass rush is going to eat this week. I think you good news. But I've said something like this before with the Jets, and it's turned out to be the opposite. So hopefully, for your sake, and I know you're watching this game. I know I'm going to be watching. Keep my eye on this game on Red Zone. My players to watch on defense this week for the second time this year, respectively, Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson. We have two premier pass rushers on the opposite side of the ball. Two of the premier pass rushers that are currently in the top 5, I believe, top 5 or top 3 in sacks, including Trey Hendrickson, who is the sack leader in the NFL.
Yeah.
Facing off against each other this week. So that's who I have my eye on this week for the defense. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, wait, one more comment. We'll have in the last comment of the day. Actually, we got 2 more comments. Your Uncle Al saying TANK. Tank. Kevin Wilson saying, anyone out there trust Penix? Don't let it be you. That starts him in fantasy.
Oh, I'm not starting him. I have a first-round bye, Kevin, in one of my leagues, so I'm happy about that.
And Mr. Smooth saying, I'm rooting for chaos.
That's what Mr. Smooth does. I'm learning. I'm learning.
All right, we're going to get out of here because Dustin's got his show, Seahawks Sessions, on the Time to BS with Daniel Smooth YouTube channel coming up in approximately 11 minutes. But before we get out of here, I remind you about social media channels. Facebook.com/@NoCardsREQ. Twitter, Instagram, scarcely use TikTok @NoCardsREQ. YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, wherever you podcast, and get yourself notified on Twitter, on YouTube. You know when we go live. You know when there's show announcements. You know when the videos come up, including the 3 Reels Metro Hockey Podcast. New episode coming out probably Monday, I suspect. But I'll talk over with my boys, find out when the best recording time is for them. Also on the podcast side, rate and review, leave a comment. Everything helps the show and engage with the show, whether you're watching. And we've had plenty of comments roll through live. If you are watching on replay tomorrow on Rumble or anytime on YouTube, leave a comment, engage with the show. We might even read out in the air. Unless you're a thirsty hoe, leave us alone because we are poor. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for being with us. No show on Tuesday because it's Christmas Eve, and if you're somebody who's recording or streaming on Christmas Eve, you're a psycho. Go enjoy it with your family. But we'll be back next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're talking Week 17 in the NFL, previewing Week 17 in the NFL. I don't know if I want to watch Bears Seahawks on Thursday.
I mean, I'll watch it because
you have to because you're a fan. But we also can talk about the Christmas Day games. We have 2 Christmas Day games, so we're talking about them. We're talking about Bears Seahawks Thursday night, the last Thursday night game of the year, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be talking the rest of Week 17 in the NFL because Week 18 is going to be packed. Every game, every team is playing on Sunday during Week 18.
That's going to be a heck of a Sunday.
Daniel Smooth saying, I'm not psycho. Thank you, everyone. All right, we're going to get out of here. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, see you next Saturday. Be safe out there.
Yes.
Enjoy the holiday. Enjoy the Christmas holiday. And happy first day of Hanukkah for those who are observing on the 26th. So we'll be back next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, talking about the NFL, talking about all things sports. But until then, Merry Christmas. And then Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. We'll talk to you Saturday.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and let me just thank you, Ryan, again for everything that you do to help us get to 2,500 downloads on the podcast side. Thank you, everybody. Here's to many more. We're going to keep doing this show until people kick us out. We hope you love it as much as we do. Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. Starting late this year. I was like, wow, Hanukkah's late this year. But whatever holiday you celebrate this season, enjoy it. Be with your loved ones, be with your family, and good night, everybody.
Ho, 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 pimp.